Hello there. Those deemed wealthy by the state could soon end up being denied the currently universal state pension. Now, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe, click the little bell, select all, and then like and comment below. Oh, and if you, like many, think the media is being used to distract the public from what's really going on, then there's a piece on that at the end of this video. I talked recently about one think tank that is recommending that the pension system be reformed to reduce the amount of money that can be passed on to heirs. And now we have another, the Adam Smith Institute, talking about removing the right to a state pension from those who the state believes are too wealthy to receive it. And this will of course appeal to the socialist wealth redistributors and envy merchants. At present, the state pension is available to all those that have paid the requisite amount into the system via national insurance contributions. But many people already have huge personal or state pensions or other wealth to rely on that makes the relatively small amount from the state pension appear as nothing more than a bit of extra small change added to their accounts. But those concerned have paid into a system that has always been understood to be universal. To change this midstream would surely be unfair on those that would miss out as a result of any such rule change. Now, whenever I point out that the pension payments come out of the UK benefits pot, I always get angry comments in capitals claiming that the state pension is not a benefit. But I do have to point out that whatever the understanding and whatever the rights or wrongs of it, in law the state pension is a benefit. And that's why the state can freely muck about with it by changing age thresholds and how much gets paid out to whom and when. Otherwise it would be some sort of set contractual arrangement, and no government would agree to that on such a large and expensive scale. Now, what the Adam Smith Institute would like to see is the introduction of means testing for the state pension. There are a number of options that could be reviewed, although in strict revenue-raising terms, simply offering a state pension only to those with assets under £1 million would be fairly straightforward to administer and would save the taxpayer roughly £25 billion a year, says the Institute's report. And it says that this should be introduced prior to any future changes in state pension age thresholds. And it would of course free up a lot of money for more generous pensions for the less well-off. That is, it could become another socialist wealth redistribution system. On top of that, the Institute is recommending the removal of the state pension triple lock and replacing it with some sort of income-related system that is smoothed out over time. But you can imagine an elderly couple who have worked all their lives and put everything into a nice home in a nice area worth over about £1 million, but being unable to hold on to it and forced to sell up after retirement because they are too asset-rich and too cash-poor, when the state pension could have kept them comfortably in their home. And in the same way benefits always seem to work, the means-tested state pension would gradually increase to rival any public or private pension others may have built up, with the inevitable "why bother saving" attitude kicking in. The creep towards socialism and state control of every aspect of our lives in the UK continues unabated. Now, another policy the Adam Smith Institute report has come up with is to offer a personal development loan to all school leavers who do not attend university. And this could be used, says the Institute, to help remove the prioritisation of a university education over vocational training. A personal development loan of £6,000 a year could be offered on the same repayment terms as a student loan, This would allow greater flexibility over study and the development of skills alongside leisure activities and personal interests. The beneficiary of the loan would be strongly incentivised to maximise their post-learning earnings, seeing it as an investment in their future, given they will be taxed going forwards for taking it out, says the Institute. So one assumes from this, like the uni loans, there would have to be an earnings threshold before paying it back, with the taxpayer having to pick up the tab in the first instance. And then I would be concerned if a whole new industry sprung up solely dedicated to relieving school leavers of their £6,000 a year for questionable results, with loads of technical teaching establishments sprouting up overnight, who also then copy the universities and offer services to foreign students to come over to the UK, etc., 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 as well as advisors offering a paid service to advise the recipients of their £6,000 a year on where and on what to spend their borrowed dosh. You know how it works. As the Institute points out, according to the IFS, 20% of graduates end up worse off after going to university. I would surmise the same result, or worse, for a personal development loan scheme. And now to the subject of the great distraction. Over to you, Richard.
Thank you, Jeff, and good evening. Right, you lot of free-thinking lovely lobsters, you. Have you noticed how good as a society we have become at looking the other way from the real issues of the day? You would swear our attention was being deliberately diverted. For example, large parts of Africa sit on the precipice of a famine the likes of which we have never seen before. But a rather ordinary fellow called Harry, with a woke social justice warrior wife, are the main focus of our media's attention. Why? Why at a time when tens of millions face starvation are the press rallying around the royal family to protect them from something that nobody should care about and is comparatively unimportant? Okay, so after giving in and watching the remaining episodes of Netflix's Harry and Meghan, I just thought, well, maybe they have a point, but then again, maybe they don't. And no fucks were given either way. But to see the full force of the media attacking their version of events in the papers with such ferocity made me wonder, was Harry right about the relationship between the palace and the media? Yet again, no fucks given by me, but this royal scuffle is high distraction from the real events going on. What about the invasion taking place? What about people suddenly being taken away from us? People in the UK are facing a cost of living crisis, with no heating, little food, and a health service on the brink of complete collapse. Yet, the media are like hornets attacking two people because of what they have said about members of their own family. Just goes to show where the media makes their money. Let me break down today's headlines for you that you will find on the front pages of the red tops and the more serious papers. Kate good, Meghan bad, Harry bad, William good, royal family silent with dignity, Harry and Meghan brash and not very nice. Those are the headlines we don't need right now. What we need is the press to do their job as social commentators and pick the most important issues of the day and not focus on the bread and circuses feeding the lower aspects of the British psyche. In this Netflix documentary, Harry and Meghan both claim attacks on their reputations by the press are sometimes leaked and planted by the royals. Naughty, naughty. And used as distractions, so the press reaction to the documentary during this time of global crisis is exactly what they said the press do. Harry and Meghan must be sitting there in their palatial home with big huge grins on their faces as their Netflix film crew film them saying 3 words, "Told you so." There are much bigger issues than the Meghans and the royal family for the press to report on at the moment. But reading the papers today is once again reason enough to not trust the media. To conclude, I will say this. If the press are not doing what Harry and Meghan said they are doing, and using them as scapegoats to distract the masses, maybe the press shouldn't be focusing on them, which is distracting the masses and legitimizing their claims. Whether their claims are legitimate or not. I'm not going to get all binary over who's right and who's wrong with the Meghans and the royal family. I am no fan of this pair of useful idiots that pushed for everyone to get a certain medical procedure, and I am no fan of their work either. But I am also very weary of the media attacking and demonizing them, a media that attacked and demonized people like me for not undergoing a medical procedure. Anyway, back over to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Richard. And finally, when subscribing, please don't forget to press that little bell and also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. And thank you all so much for taking the time to watch the show.